Ipswich Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich Buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talking Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Wednesday night show. I'm, of course, your host, the Governor. I'm still in the doghouse. No, I'm out of the doghouse. I have moved myself out of the doghouse back into the luxury penthouse apartment, and I'm really excited to be with you here again to put myself back in the doghouse. That's inevitably what seems to be happening these days on these shows. I come on, run my big mouth, and end up sleeping on the sofa, or as I like to call it, my bed. But no, looking forward to hearing what Tom and Tux have both got to say. Obviously, last night's game, FA Cup first round, still sticks in my throat. Replay against Oldham. Completed it, mate. Absolutely completed it. Won a cup game. I know this is unknown territory for some. Well, since Lambert did it, but we'll gloss over that. But it's really exciting time through to the second round at home to Barrow. I'll get their thoughts on how far they think we should be aiming for. It's got to be at least third round now, surely. And then of course we've got Sunderland 7th versus 9th. Sunderland literally have lost 3 of the last 5. They couldn't buy a win before the international break. Manager under pressure. Surely it's a great time to travel north to the northeast and grab 3 points. If ever a time Town was going to go to a place which traditionally, growing up, I can't remember too many times we went there and won convincingly anyway. This has got to be a great time, surely. And as always, there'll be a live link for you to have your say and a live link for you all to get involved. Now, for the eagle-eyed viewers among us, you would have noticed, now if I've uploaded the right ones, this is going to work. If I haven't, then it won't. But we have got some new 5th Stand TT Ultra graphic boards. A huge thank you to all of these wonderful people that have supported and continue to support the platform with a monthly contribution through Ko-Fi. Honestly, guys, thank you, and girls, thank you so much. You really do keep us going. You allow us to be the platform that we are, and also build upon that platform, and with some new and exciting things coming up. I'm going to get an email from somebody in a minute saying that's not the right boards, but we'll keep it going. And there's the last one. 3 boards. I know we've progressed to 3 boards. Unbelievable. And Mr. and Mrs. Anonymous have been busy, as you can see, populating future Anonymouses that have then supported the platform 6 times. Now, if your name's not on that list and you think it should be, DM me on Twitter or Facebook. So obviously, you may be one of those anonymous names that Ko-Fi, for whatever reason, don't tell me. But you can support us through Ko-Fi, links now in the chat. Every sort of little helps. Right, let's bring in my first contributor. I've misplaced the introduction. There he is. Boom. Tom James. Welcome, Tom.
Evening, mate. How are we doing?
I am very well. Very excited to be here talking football with both you and Tux. How's things been going in Nottingham with you, my man?
Yeah, Nottingham's all right, thank you. Really busy with work at the minute, so nice to keep up with stuff and having to plan wedding things. Apparently, that's quite difficult. So I found that out quite quickly.
What's making it difficult, Tom?
Money.
Oh yeah, I found that quite the struggle with when I got married as well. To be fair, never enough of it, and too many people that want to come to it.
Oh,
am I on the right ballpark?
I've not had anyone say they don't want to come yet, but I probably should send out invites before that. So. Yeah.
You never will. You never will have anyone say they won't want to come. That's what I was saying. It'll be your money can afford 20, but suddenly you've got 500 friends and family, and I guarantee your mum will say, your great uncle Arthur. No, yeah, you do. He was your brother's niece's second cousin on the mum's side removed, third, four times. and you'll still go no. We got to invite him. What?
Nah.
Honestly, more uncles and aunts come out the closet for my wedding than I remember. It was an Aunt Angel at one point. Anyway, looking forward to getting my invitation, getting my hat sorted. I trust you're going to invite the Gov.
Let's wait and see, won't we? Is he going to make the cut?
Is it? Am I going to? Hey, finally, president values the role I play. Mark, Peaky blowing a Tuxford. How you doing?
Yeah, good mate. How are you? You right?
Good. Did you enjoy that last week? It was almost like me and Tom had been rehearsing that all day.
Yeah, I thought that was quite a good little push over to me then, weren't it? Really. So yeah, very nice.
Yeah, that was Barry and Paul S there, Tom.
Yeah.
To meet you. Looking forward to talking football with both of you. Mark. How's your life gone since the last time we spoke?
Yeah, good. On the pitch, it seems to be getting a bit more consistent, I think. So yeah, obviously been going to more games as well. So the missus hasn't been booking me up for every other weekend. So yeah, so it's actually been quite nice to actually go to the football, sit in my season ticket seat, and watch a bit of consistent football. So yeah.
Where is your season ticket seat?
Season ticket seat is in section 6.
Are you next to Simmons?
Yeah, so I'm next to Ash. Yeah. So yeah, but last game I was sitting with a mate because he wanted to go and watch an Ipswich game. He's a Liverpool fan, so I sat in the Britannia stand or Magnus, whatever it's called, stand. So yeah.
Yep, the Magnus Group stand. Which, by the way, since they've named that the Magnus Group, I've seen Magnus lorries on the road.
Yeah.
Before then, I couldn't tell you the first. Remember seeing them once. Now they've named the stadium or the stand. Every time I'm like, look. So I guess it works in that respect. Yeah, I can see Simmons from my seat, so I'll look out for you. Although as you say, you've not often been there to see, but you're really looking forward to getting back. Obviously, Sunderland this weekend means a lot to yourself. We'll get to that at some point, but the first stop, I guess, has to be Oldham last night. Let's start with the obvious. Not streamable. FA Cup first round, not a semi, not a quarter, not even the third. It's the first round against Oldham. So 2 lower level clubs, League 1 and League 2, and you can't stream it anywhere. It's almost like it's 1991, not 2021. What are your thoughts on that then as a pair? I will start with you, Tom. What are your thoughts on the fact you couldn't see the game anywhere, by hook or by crook?
I thought the reason for it is because there wasn't a good enough setup or production for it, but it turns out the highlights seem like iFollow standard at least, so I'm sure it could have been streamed, but I don't know if they have to kind of give a blanket thing for everybody in the first round. I don't know, but it seems like if Town fans had the option to pay for it, they would have done so. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there.
Yeah, Tom, Mark, sorry, what are your thoughts? I think I'm going to go with it's going to be commercial, isn't it? The same way the Carabao Cup wasn't available on iFollow because of commercial, I believe, reasons. It's got to be the same thing here, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm not really surprised that the cup games aren't really available on EFL. So I didn't really expect to see anything come through EFL yesterday. But yeah, it was all about money, really, isn't it? It's all about the dollar. So unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But I can't see why there can't be another kind of platform for that to watch cup games, really. But the main thing is obviously we're into the next round. So, but from what I have sort of heard, it wasn't too different from kind of Oxford in the first half, really. It was a little bit sloppy. And yeah, from the read up that I've kind of read about it as well, it's just like a very sloppy, loose passing. Like when I went to the game against Oxford last week, it was just Selena, for me, his passing was tragic. Like in terms of, you just couldn't find a man at all. So it sort of sounded a little bit like that last night. But obviously, others can sort of tell more about it from what I can. So yeah.
Yeah, well, no, and I think you're spot on in terms of Selena on Saturday. Every pass selection was bad, and I know the FA. They just go to the streaming options. They, according to Matt, they had an FA player that they used to, or they did some some games off there at some point. But yeah, as you say, it's all about the dollar. But I would have paid good money. Yes, well, not good money. I'd have paid a tenner at the very least, £15 to Oldham, a League Two side, and in the end, nobody got any of my money. That doesn't seem very straightforward. A man. Is winning this part with his hard-earned money, but no one seem to take it in 2021. So they need to look at that really, because as you say, Tom, the highlights weren't even fan dabba-dozy, were they? They were. Well, they were.
It's just iPhone OS. I would have understood it if the FA Cup hadn't moved to BT as well, and is now the Emirates FA Cup, because you then would have thought it's a BBC thing, and they've only got so many things they can do with it, but it seems like there's more money in it, so I don't know why they're trying not to make more out of it.
Absolutely. Well, let's bring in somebody who was there, who can give us his team rating, give us his thoughts, become what Tux was saying there. It is, of course, the man of the hour. He has raised bundles of cash for Pack Out PR. I think over 12,000 in the end, I believe. He is a great guy, a good friend of mine. He is Mr. Cool. There he is, Corporate Crunch.
What's going on with my bonnet in that video?
No idea.
My bonnet's all over the show, isn't it?
Standard for you. But look, Father Crunch of Christmas has arrived, says Mike D. You got a round of applause from Tux. Look, listen, Crunch, you've done really well. What was the final target or total?
So we raised 12.5 grand.
Bloody hell.
So that's been transferred to the club and they're sorting the tickets out. But now, if anyone hasn't donated, there was a few people, Martin, who said they were waiting for payday. So whatever we raise now, we're going to fire it over to each.
Wow.
It's all going to go to them. So we've got 250 quid. So whatever we raise, look, if we can get 500 quid, maybe £1,000, and then fire that over to them for Christmas, and they can use it however they want to.
Wow. So wow, that's, God, look at you. Father Crunch of Christmas. I like that name from Mike D. Father Crunch of Christmas. Talking about Father Crunch of Christmas, we had a Joe Piggott assist, albeit very luckily. We had a...
I would never ever call that a Joe Piggott assist, Martin. I turned away because it was a shit cross and the keeper made an absolute mess of it, didn't he?
Oh, he really did. He really, really did. So talk us through the game from your perspective, from the away end. It's a period. Is it blustery, is it, as they advertise?
One thing it wasn't was cold. It was just wet, and it was that sort of that sideways rain that it's not proper rain, but it's the rain that soaks you through. It's that fine, horrible. Yeah, it was as they say, Tux, grim up north.
Yeah. Light drizzle.
Light drizzle.
That's the way soccer.
And Stephen Parry actually looks younger in real life, Martin. I was amazed. He does. He looks younger in real life. I was shocked. But yeah, it's good.
What was it like seeing Steve without the beep in the background?
I just couldn't get used to it. I was looking for an alarm on my phone that could go off every 20 seconds. I was going to take a screwdriver. I was going to take a screwdriver up and just pop round because he was in Chorley, which is not that far from Oldham. And he'd given his missus a budget of 200 quid. She'd gone shopping for the night, and he'd gone to the football. And he was hoping it wasn't extra time because she was sat in the car, obviously waiting for him. I think she was at Brewers Fair. I think she was waiting to pick him up. What a night out it is! Oldham's a great night out, lads. I reckon.
I bet he was really pleased when Idris popped up with a hell of a goal.
What a goal! What a goal that was!
Talk us through the performances then. Obviously, for those that didn't see it, sort of, Walton started in goal. What did you give him on your team?
Christian Walton, I'll give him a 6. He done a really good save early on, where the guy should have scored one-on-one. Should have scored Bit unlucky on the goal. Martin done a good save, parried it out, but no one sort of reacted. So yeah, steady 6 for him. He's obviously
nice.
He's the number one by a long stretch now, isn't he? Really.
You don't think Tom Haladki's got any chance of a look in? Then you think Walton's now down that position?
I wouldn't have thought so. I've not seen anything Bolton's really done wrong, really, apart from his first game. But Bolton scored 5, but he didn't. They scored 5, but he wasn't at fault for most of them, was he?
Do you think it was a bit strange that he played Walton, Tom, instead of Haladki in the cup, or do you think that signals just how much in the lead of the position and the jersey that Walton is?
I think it pretty much says the trust is there that he's going to be there for the latter rounds of competition and the league, and we might as well embed any new back four around him so he's always the constant in that. I think it's so important to have a consistent keeper, so I'm fine with it, to be honest. Holy will probably go in January unless we can afford to keep his wages on if we want to, but yeah, I think Haladki's going to have to sit out for a bit.
Okay, Rich, back four, what are you saying?
Wes Burns, right back. Another string to our bow, Martin. You know, he's not going to play there regular, is he? But it shows that he can fill in there. I gave him a 6. Got 4 more second half. 2 centre halves. Wolfenden, I thought, really struggled. Got a yellow card. Booked him at half time. I give him a 5. The Fridge, steady, very steady. He's probably turning out, Martin, to be one of our best signings, I think, George Edmondson. Because he's just class. I think he's class, and he's going to get a lot better. And I just think if we don't stay in the league, if we stay in the league this season and don't get promoted, I think there'll be Championship clubs sniffing around after him, won't there?
Yeah. Our best signing so far, Tux. What do you think of that one then? Big words from the crunch, that is, because 19 of them to choose from.
I don't know if he's our best signing so far. For me, it's Morsey. However, I do agree. That he's come in. He's been fairly consistent, and agree that like if we stay in this league, don't get promoted, then Championship clubs will have their eyes on him. But yeah, very good player at this level, and surprised that I think a lot of Rangers fans were surprised they let him go as well. To be honest,
I'll tell you what, Tux. I think he's played better since Burgess has gone out the team. I don't know what you think.
Yeah. And it's strange because when Burgess was playing, Cook was all kind of plaudits for them two as a duo. But for whatever reason, it's not really worked out as such for Burgess.
But now he's playing on the left, isn't he, Edmondson? Yeah. He's switched over, and I think he said that suited him more. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, he suited me more as a right-footed centre half because it was the angle of where the ball was coming on the inside of your strongest foot. When you see Edmondson next to Wolfenden, Crunch, obviously, backtrack to 12, 24 months ago, Wolfenden was seen as the future, the bright spark, the Premier League bound centre half. Now you see him next to Edmondson. Can you see the true goal and perhaps pedigree difference? Maybe we were overvaluing Wolfenden, or is there still something from Wolf?
I think he probably got a bit of a pass, didn't he, Martin? Because he's obviously come through the academy, local lad. I think he'll go in the summer. I think he'll go because I don't think he's not going to play, is he now? Unless you get a lot of injuries, he's not going to play. If we get promoted, he's definitely not going to play in the Championship. That's a fact. But I just think the way we're going now, I still sort of agree with you, Martin. I would be looking in January for someone to partner in, maybe Edmondson.
Yeah.
Because I think I know Tux, you're not Toto's biggest fan. I think he's done well so far. And I think he's a steady player in this division. I'm not sure if we did get up that he would come on the journey with us into the Championship.
Mark would agree, possibly, but as Callie, maybe myself a little bit disagree. I think he's developing this year as Toto. I think he's doing really well. And that's a question though for 6 months' time. Let's see where his progression, his development continues to grow. We've got a few comments before we come to Bailey Clements, another young player. We've got Wayday Beers, well on Crunch, you've earned some beers. Congratulations to the pair of you. Truly remarkable achievement from Duncan. EJ said, Richard, you're a legend. What you're doing with the pack out Portman Road, you're a proper Trips's fan, and I respect you big time for what you're doing. Nice one. Duncan says, Welsh wet rain, allegedly. Lee Brown. Rich, can I give you some money on Saturday? You will see us up there travelling with Budgie. Yeah,
he's coming up with Budge. Shout out to Lee's mate Andre, who was going up last night, I told you, Martin, there was a really bad accident, guys, on the A1 when I was going up, and I was really lucky. It was horrible, and unfortunately the lorry driver lost his life. But Andre was travelling up. I think he was stuck in that, and he got there at half time. 6.5 hours it took him to get to Oldham. So that is. I know, Martin, this is probably for another time about people going to tick off new grounds and that. But look, respect to the 496 who went there last night.
Mad.
Not the glamorous sort of place to go, is it? Oldham on a Tuesday in November. But yeah, fair play to them.
No, but when we're all punching our ticket at the Etihad or the Emirates in the Premier League in 5 years' time, or the Nou Camp for the Champions League semi-final, you can all sit there and you can say, do you remember where we were? Oldham, 496 of us. Now look at us, 4,500 travelling contingent. Because those times will come. Mike D says, I agree with you, Crunch, about Edmondson. He's head and shoulders above our centre-backs. Adrian, well done, Crunch, and everyone who gave money to pack up PR. Fantastic amount of money was to a very good cause. EJ says, I'd say the Fridge or Morsey are our two best signings. Definitely Bond, the best loan, obviously.
But these are championship players, Martin. Where Tux says about Morsey's a championship player. Edmondson played there for Derby. He played in Europe for Rangers. Chaplin dropped down as well. So we've got championship players playing in League One, but we still need to get out of this league. And it's all right having the best players. You still got to do it.
We need to gel him. Bailey Clements, then how did he play? Because I said to Matt on the pre-show last night about consistently stacking performances now. Did he do that yesterday? How was he yesterday?
First 20-25 minutes he struggled, I thought.
Yeah.
They got him down his side. I think it was a bit like the team, Martin. They all improved. They all started really sluggishly, we did, for the first 25 minutes. Like Cook said, we were all over the place. But he steadily got better. I gave him a 6, and I agree with you. It's all right doing it once. He's got to do it week in, week out. And if he plays Saturday, that's going to be a massive test for him. At Sunderland, we're probably, 25, 30,000 there. It's all right playing at home. You've got your own fans there backing you. But when you're playing away at the Stadium of Light and these other grounds, you're playing left back, you're on that touch line, you're going to be getting it in the ear from their lot. So let's see what he's made of. I was impressed with him Saturday because I had to eat my words, because I did say he'd never play a league minute as long as he's got a hole in his arse, but he's proved me wrong. And he's an Ipswich lad as well. Yeah.
Don't go changing it.
But like you've said before on this platform, big opinions, you got to stick your neck out there sometimes, and then you look a bit of a prat.
I think
like you will in the summer when you get that clown's costume on.
I think you've had enough credit to this week to get it wrong. But Tom, Bailey Clements, he's got to earn the trust, isn't it? But, consistently stacking performances and earning that trust of his manager to go to Sunderland and places like that and start. It's about gaining the trust, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm really happy with what I've heard of him so far. And to touch on Rich's point there about playing at Sunderland, I don't think there's a better time to go to Sunderland on the form they're on at the minute and play there, and probably that's as good an opportunity as a kid's going to get to start at Sunderland. So I say bring it on for him. If Coulson's not fit, I'd like to see him play over Penny. So fine with me. I think Edmondson next to him, you've got Edmondson next to him, is a good calming influence, and I think that's a solid partnership so far. So
I think he will do. I think he will do. I think he'll play over Penny because he's obviously, you would have thought Clements played Saturday. You might have thought he might have come in last night, Penny, because he's not had a lot of football. And then you've got Miles Kenlock was on the bench, which was interesting, ahead of Penny. And you had, what was it, Martin? Was it 9 subs you could have in the FA Cup? So he's not in that 20 that's travelled up there, which you'd say is a bit surprising.
9 and use 5.
Yeah,
Midfield, Harper and El Miz. Let's start with Harper first, because a Player of the Year candidate said...
Not for me. Not for me. Anonymous.
Summer siders that night, didn't they? Rakeem Harper can be Player of the Year.
Well, I don't think that night. It was up 5 minutes into the Crystal Palace friendly. He's going to be Player of the Year, that lad, he said. What? Play Crystal Palace in the friendly at bloody Portman Road.
How did he do last night?
I thought he was anonymous. Didn't really. I think he had one surge forward. He's not doing enough for me. When he's having the opportunity to come on, which is now he's not getting that much minutes, but you can now start to see, Martin, why, if he was that highly rated, why did West Brom let him go? And I know he was linked to, was it Juventus were linked with him?
Yep.
He's obviously got talent, but he's not showing it. and he's got people ahead of him, because we'll talk about El Mazzuni in a minute. He's ahead of him now, I think, in the pecking order.
Tux, look, I'm going to stick my neck out back on the line here for Rakeem. There's a player in there, Mark. I really believe it. And I just think maybe he's struggling for a consistency as a young player, but struggling because he's not being given a position of his own, really, and put in the best position to succeed just yet. Am I right? Or do you think, how is there a player in there from your perspective? Am I right? Or is it a case of, look, it's just not going to happen, maybe? What do you think about Rakeem?
I'll tell you what he is from last year, and obviously not as good, but Andre Dazelle, right? So Andre Dazelle last year was playing in an unfamiliar position where he's playing essentially CDM.
Mm-hmm.
Rakeem Harper is being tried out as a CDM, so especially at the start of the season when we didn't have Morsey. He was playing alongside Evans. He's not a CDM. So actually what he is, along with 4 or 5 other players at this club, is a number 10, really. So he's not going to get his chance to play there because there's better players there playing in that number 10 already, and even not playing already. So
that's an excellent point you say there, because Tom, you were at Lincoln and he came on Harper and he played him in the 10 Tux for about 20 minutes, and that's the best that I've seen of him at Town. But you're spot on there. He's not going to play there.
No, he's not going to play there because you've got Fraser, you've got Salini, you've got Chaplin, you've got El Mazzuni. So that's 4 already. So he's essentially your 5th central attacking midfielder in the number 10 role.
Yeah,
but he's not going to play there. So that's why Cook is seeing him maybe more as a CDM type player. And I think maybe we sort of panicked a little bit because maybe we didn't think we was going to get Morsey in the building in the start of the season. But yeah, I in answer to your question, Gav, I think there's a player there. He's got talent, but it's putting it in the right position. And like I say, from last season, Dazelle, talented player, but in the wrong position. So he was never going to play in the 10 role, but got played in that CDM role. Waste.
So do we unlock it by maybe arranging a loan in January for him and letting him go and find himself in this? And I'm not saying they're in the same breath, but the same way Drennan seems to have found himself at Orient, scoring goals, getting confident, having fun. Is that what you do for Harper? We give some League Two a dream signing.
Possibly, but you look at what Mark Ashton said at the meeting last week on the Monday. He said there was going to be changes to the playing squad, little changes. I think Rakeem Harper might be one of those little changes where, let's face it, we've had such an overhaul of this squad. There's going to be players that are good, that have made it at this level. But there's also going to be players that are considered maybe
the odds
flop.
tell you that. Yeah.
So, maybe Harper is one of those. But really, it's about playing in the right position. He's not going to be played in his rightful position, and he's going to get tried in a position that's probably not familiar to him and that he doesn't enjoy. So that's my opinion on kind of Rakeem Harper. Just going back to Bailey Clements, don't know what everyone's fussing about with him. Standard. Didn't think much of him at all.
What,
against
on
Oxford.
Saturday?
On last week.
Ooh!
Didn't think much of him at all.
Oh, we need a.
He went forward. He's more marauding fullback. So.
Ooh.
Didn't think much of him at all. Just because he comes from our academy, we go back to Wolfenden. He got overhyped. Clements is getting overhyped.
I do agree with a little bit what you're saying there. I think I see a stat, Mark, that he gave the ball away 21 times on Saturday in that game. So he done okay. I didn't think he was anything more than that. There was people giving him man of the match, and I thought
I didn't know what people were thinking with man of the match and all this sort of stuff. Like standard display, all right. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong, really. I mean, it misplaced a couple of tackles here and there. But I was sitting of a view where I was essentially watching him from the position I was in, because I was in. What would you give him out of 10?
What would you give him out of 10 for Saturdays then?
6.
Yeah, I don't.
He weren't nothing above a 6. Like he was all right. Like if he'd have scored maybe at the end.
Should have scored.
An 8.
Got to be shooting in that position, Mark, that he was in.
Yeah, but 6. I don't know what anyone's sitting there, getting out their tree about Bailey Clements. Like, do me a favour.
Oh, Matt Stannard, is he in the chat?
I don't know. I'm just going to put in the chat with what you've just said. Have your say now. Before we do that, we'll just park that. It's a very, very wonderfully passionate point. I like those, Tux. I love those. I see you not shaking your head there, Tom. Not about Clements and about Tux's bombshell, but about the Harper situation. Just go back to that one and finish that chat off. What were your thoughts Why were you shaking your head, basically?
Yeah, just trying to work out what his position is. Like Rich said at Lincoln, he was getting beyond Bond towards the end of the game and making those runs, and he was almost playing as like a second striker at times. He was getting forward that much, but I don't really know where he sits. It's almost like you say, it's the Dazelle conundrum where would he be best in a 3 in midfield where he's the more advanced and you've got the 2 anchors. So he's not a number 10, but he's kind of doing that job in the middle. I still can't work out where his best position is, but yeah, I don't. I think I was probably shaking my head at him going to League 2. I think that's way below his level.
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously I don't know where he goes if
Cambridge.
he does go, but he's going to stay, in my opinion.
All right. The Anthony Wordsworth situation where Mick brought him in, couldn't play him in a 2, couldn't find a 3, and then despite being poetry in motion, was bombed out. Come on, Wordsworth, poetry in motion. Anybody gonna? No,
Yeah,
fine.
That was good. It was good.
I thought that was pretty good, really. Gary Denny, yes, but if we don't give Clements playing time, how will we ever know what he's capable of? Mike
fair.
D, it's the blue tinted youth academy glasses. I remember a year ago when Ben Crunch said Jack Lancaster will be playing at Swindon in a year's
He
time.
did say that. He did say that.
Everyone went,
we nearly fell off. I nearly fell off my chair. I was a big Jack fan.
Yeah, I am still, but he's not.
Anyway, big shout out to Jack. He's just a baby, him and his missus. So yeah, big shout out to him.
Ben Moore, Harper not for me. Loan in January, the same with Piggott and Edwards. They need football and confidence. Might agree with TJ. Then he worked maybe in a 4-3-3. B. Tuxford, not quite sure what you're talking about with Clements. What did you make of that?
I get where he's coming from Saturday. I think he was better than okay. We fell into this trap before. I thought.
Hang on, Steve.
No,
Where is it?
I've shut door. I've trapped the cat in here. I've shut door. No, but we've been down this route before so many times and been burnt. So I see where Tux is coming from. Saying that he's the next Pele. And they always end up then go to Forest Green or something like that, and everybody's going, well, what's that? So, and to be fair, Paul Cook, to his credit, has said exactly the same thing. He says he doesn't want people playing if he doesn't think they're ready. Now, Paul Cook, obviously, maybe he's been forced into playing him. Maybe that's the argument. If Coulson wasn't injured, we wouldn't be seeing Bailey Clements. I think it's more necessity.
There it is.
That was my cat. I think it was more necessity than What does that say about Matt Penny though, Stephen? If you've got Bailey Clements, who at the start of the season was probably not even in anyone's thoughts, and now what is he? Who is our first choice left back now?
Well, Tux has got Matt Penny playing Saturday in his team for Sunderland, so he didn't see enough from Clements even to start next week.
Coulson's our first choice. That goes without saying. Matt Penny was brought in because Coulson wasn't the deal. We didn't know the deal was going to get done, and Coulson wasn't fit when he came. So Matt Penny served a purpose. I don't know whether Matt Penny was told he was just being served a purpose and he was going to be back up. He probably was. Clubs very rarely. I find it surprising clubs would lie to players. You know what I mean? And say, look, we want your first choice, and suddenly within 5 minutes to get somebody else. I don't really see that happening. So I think Coulson's first choice, and the reason why Bailey Clements is playing is because Penny had a really bad game and he did suffer. And I think his confidence was dented. And I think Paul Cook's just took him out the firing line for a bit and said, well, let's see what this lad's got. And until Coulson's fit. We might see Penny on Saturday. I don't know. Paul Cook's so unpredictable with his selections. It's unreal. Like one name I want to mention who I think Crunch would agree from last night, who hardly got a mention was Aluko. I thought he raided that. Didn't matter who was at fullback. Aluko was in everything on that right-hand side. He was split. He was if it weren't for that goal, it wouldn't have been for Aluko. He was wonderful. His touch, his passing. He made some mistakes, but so did everybody. But I think he deserved more credit than what people were actually giving him. People who watched the match saw Aluko play well. You probably wouldn't have picked up of it on the radio, but he really did play well.
Yeah, I've heard that. Crunch, let's move to Aluko. We'll come back to Olmiz in a second. Aluko, then, what was your rating for him, and what did you think of him?
But might have been a bit harsh. I was doing this, Stephen, when I got home last night about 1:20, so I was rather knackered. I only gave him a 6, but having thought about it, I would probably give him a 7. we've got so many players. I spoke to Alex Maffey, Martin, before the game last night in the car park, and he said we have got too many players. I know you want good players, but we have got, like Tuck said, we've got so many number 10s. Is Sonny Aluko going to play over Wes Burns now? I don't know.
Go on.
What do you?
I was going to say, would you be tempted at all? Because we know how this formation and this setup really works with attacking fullbacks. Would you be tempted to play Wes Burns at right back?
No.
And play Aluko at the right midfield?
No, Donatian's been fantastic, and I don't think you'd.
KVY was great when he came on at second half. He's looking back. He's looking better and better as games go on. As a right wing back. Maybe that's because Aluko was in front of me. He didn't have to go as far forward, because Burns, he's so pacey. He gets off. Sometimes KVY can get caught out. Maybe it's the fact that he didn't have to go as far forward because it was Aluko and he very rarely dropped deep. But I thought KVY was very good.
I get that.
He was getting down into the box, crosses in and things like that.
My thinking here, Tom. Burns is better than Donatian at going forward, no question. Burns is better than KVY going forward, no question. Play Burns at right back. Aluko is really coming into his own. From my perspective, it's all about getting players on that football field that are going to cause questions, cause problems, and give Sunderland or whoever a massive headache. And if you've got a right-hand side of Burns overlapping Aluko coming inside, that's a handful for any left-back combat, left side midfield, isn't it?
It sounds good, but it's not tried and tested enough, whereas Burns to Bon has been a good partnership for us, and disrupting that I don't think would be sensible. I think the right side, we've got good options. I think the left side is our biggest problem at the minute.
Though, I just got a point to make is, do you think Aluko was partially played because Burns had a stinker on Saturday? That was probably his worst game. I know the left back was good, but that was a poor game for him, And do you think he played Aluko thinking, well, let's give Burns a bit of a break? Because at the end of the day, he's played a lot of football.
Oh, I think we might have lost him.
He's frozen.
Oh, he's gone. All right. But I think we've got his points there. Tux, you were agreeing with him?
Yeah, I can't remember what you're saying now. Oh, yeah, Burns. Yeah. So, he did have a bit of a poor game on Saturday. But would I take him out for Aluko on Saturday? Not really. I think Aluko is, for me, I think he's better when he comes on as a sub, if I'm honest. But having said that, he is one of the only players that I've seen recently that just wants to take everyone on, put a ball in the box, and it actually is a good ball in the box. So, there's arguments for both, I'd say. But yeah, I'd be certainly starting Burns on Saturday.
Maybe I'm playing a bit too much Football Manager these days. Crunch with my Burns at right back and Luke at right midfield thinking. But Elmis,
I think, getting back to that, I think he was like them all for the first 25 minutes, Martin. They didn't really get in the game. But after
can I just say, his goal, if you've not seen it, go and find it now, because it is one of the best goals I've seen this year, let alone in the last couple of years.
Can I just say, right? I don't want to tarnish our youngsters.
Oh, hang on. Here we go.
But El Mazzoni's not really that. I'm not fancying him either.
Fucking
honestly, I just don't fancy him at all. Like any game that I've seen him play, again, it's just been all right. Like other than the goal last night, was he good?
No, he got my man of the match. He got my man of the match.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
On the goal, that's why I've given man of the match, because I thought there was no one really last night, Martin, that gets more. Then nobody last night gets more than a 7.
Sorry about that. Stream booted me out.
No, that's all right. El Miz was man of the match for Crunch last night, but yet Tux don't fancy him before we let you go, B. What did you make of them two again?
Off top of my head, I gave it to Aluko just for his play, but because he scored a goal and it was the winning goal, you'd probably have to give it to El Miz. At the end of the day, for one thing, everybody in the crowd was stood there because it was one point I was going to bring up. We always had the ball loads of players had the ball about 25 yards out, and everyone was shouting shoot, and they were all like passing it to somebody else. No one would take the initiative to just have a crack, and then he just popped up for him, and he had a crack. And as soon as he hit it was that 2 seconds while it was going in the net, but you knew it was already going to go in, and you were just waiting to cheer. it was like that deserved man of the match just for that. But it was a wonderful goal, and the way he humbly celebrated, he didn't want to celebrate, and they're like, "Go celebrate, go celebrate."
Can somebody tell me, right, why El Mazzuni is deserving of a new long-term contract?
Because I think he's going to be Morse's replacement as defensive central.
As a defensive, I don't know if he's a defensive midfielder. He's a 10, though, isn't he? He's a 10. I
don't think. No, we. That's what I mean. This is where my argument. With Mike is. You know, Mike's saying we're not managers and we're not coaches, so we don't know. No, we don't. We go a football manager, and as what Gov said, you know, why wouldn't that player be? Because that probably looks good on Football Manager, but it doesn't look good on a football field.
I can confirm it does.
It depends. No, it doesn't. It depends who's on form, who's confident, who enjoys playing where, which matters more than what we think can do. That's why Paul Cook does what he wants to do, and we've just got to live with it. People just get bored of us talking about the same bloody thing about the fact that go 4-4-2 in this when he's not going to.
Steve. Well, no one said 4-4-2. You just did. But Steve, were you talking about Mike Brown there?
Yes, I love him.
Well, he is a football coach. Pep Guardiola phones Mike up for advice, so he is a football coach. Just to read.
I know he is. And I credit to him. I love him dearly. You know, and like I said to him on Twitter, I said he has his opinions, I have mine. I respect his, he respects mine, and we all want the same thing. You know, at the end of the day, I don't have any animosity with anyone. I just enjoy my football. I just have my opinions. If people agree with them, fine. If they don't, that's also fine. You know, it's a free country. But all I'm saying is like, you know, sometimes we look at it and try and dissect it when we're not looking at the full picture. Paul Cook's got the full picture, so he's able to see which players are in form, which players aren't in form, and we don't really get all that because we don't know all that.
Okay,
so unless we know all that, we can't make a settled opinion. We can give our best guesses, but more than likely they're probably going to be wrong.
All right, Stephen, appreciate you coming on. Thank you. Go on, Tux.
Just one point though. With El Mazzuni of that long-term contract, as I say, what has he deserved? Why is he deserving of that long-term contract? Well, Stephen's saying potential. Do you get rewarded with a contract on potential?
Well,
yes.
Can I just say it's not long term. It's not long term. In football, 2 years is like, you know, it's a cup of tea.
I'll give you this. At the end of the day, his contract's coming up for renewal anyway. Yeah. So what do? Do you offer him a 2.5-year contract on potential, or let him go for nothing? Well, all the club are doing really just protecting an asset.
Valid,
you know, there's no guarantee that he's going to be here for 2.5 years. They're just giving him 2.5 years to say, look, if he doesn't work out, we're still going to get 250.
But football ability, though, what has he done in the last 3 years?
Well, he's not had the opportunity, has he? Really? You know, we've had a manager.
Arguably, you play to get that opportunity, do you not?
But he is doing, isn't he? Did he do himself any harm last night?
I'll take conversation. I didn't expect for 200, please. I didn't expect this conversation this evening.
The Idris El Mazzuni we could have in 12 months will not be the one we have now. And we may not have him in 12 months. A lot can happen in 12 months in football. He could be gone in January. We don't know. So I just say that's just the club's just done that, I think, just so they can protect an asset.
All right, Steve. I'm going to get a few comments. Thank you for popping on. I love you as always. Great stuff as always. Perfect. I'll come to yourself in a second, Tom. Just recovering there because we tuned in for Talking Town. We got Tux's scouting network. We've got Beeps School of Economics with protecting player values. I love it. See, Talking Town does all things. We've got George Nunn. Bloody hell, Tux. You're saying miserable as I am tonight. Paul Bird. Let's hope other yes.
He's got it.
Let's hope other midfielders learn and shoot instead of on a sideways pass. Joshua, I don't rate him either, to be honest. I think he's quite a way down the pecking order in our midfield. Craig at Portsmouth. Big up, Craig at Portsmouth. He comes down for every home game from Portsmouth. They stay the weekend. Just massive dedication to support. I absolutely love that. El Miz played well against him Wednesday, and then Morsey came in. He's not had much of a chance since. Ben Moore, Burns and Chaplin out wide for me. A Bon up top. Selena in behind. Mike Deere. I've never seen El Miz win a tackle. But I think that goes to the Morsey backup conversation. Lewis Knock, just don't understand how Cook can leave Fraser out Saturday. Such a quality player, which we'll come to in a second. Crunch. Joe Bradley. Feels like they're giving him a contract just for some sell-on value. Go back to Beeps economics. If we go up, the longer the contract, the more you have to pay. And Joe Bradley again. Edmondson will have a new centre-back partner next year, without a doubt. Someone will come in for Wolf and Toto. Tom, you were looking to get in on that with Beep. What were your thoughts on what you were hearing?
Yeah, I think Paul Bird's just chipped in there with it. I think we've tied him down because there's potential there. We've given other players who haven't made the cut longer to kind of show themselves, but he falls as a homegrown player, and surely that's fine for our quota. It's just an extra body we're allowed. If someone's come through the academy, can fit into match day squads, it fits that criteria. I think if Wolf leaves, we've got that homegrown player there, and maybe we haven't got anyone coming through who is at that level yet. So it makes sense to me to give someone with a bit of experience a bit of a longer stay whilst we try and get out of this league.
Okay, fair point. Moving on, it's not quite England left-sided issues with Danny Mills playing there, but Scott Fraser, left midfield, we've got Carl Edwards. It is a bit of an issue, becoming now, isn't it? Crunch with who plays on the left side of anywhere.
Well, yeah. Saturday I'll be playing Selena out there. If I was Paul Cook.
I think Tux is the same. But what did Fraser do last night? Did he get his elbows out and nudge his way in at any point?
I like watching Scott Fraser. I think he's a very good footballer. Still trying to work out where he plays, though. I liked what I see Martin when he played against Colchester, and he played in the a bit deeper in that role. He could slot in there alongside Morsey. Is he going to drop Lee Evans? Probably not. But that's where I think he could play there. But it's another. We go around in circles. We've got too many players. It's where to fit them all in. Yeah. And Saturday, will Scott Fraser be in that starting lineup? I don't think he will. He's not going to play in the 10. Is he going to play out? He could play out wide on the left, but I don't know. But I give him 6.5 last night. I thought he come into the game second half. He's a good player. I like watching him play, but he's another one who needs to play football, Martin, and he's not playing week in, week out at the minute, is he? He's had a bit of an injury. Yes, so it's where do you get him back in the team?
6.5 last night, Tom. If we talk about Rakeem Harper earlier in the show, Tom, about positional adaptability, not finding one free that's really suiting his needs, or whatever it might be with Rakeem Harper, is Scott Fraser sort of the reverse of that, where he can play any multitude of positions, but every time he plays, he makes it a difficult case to be left out every single time. Whereas Harper doesn't, and last night was anonymous. Scott Fraser, he's scoring goals, he's playing well. Colchester last week. So is it a bit of the Harper syndrome and where you play him, but then also he's actually doing stuff with his minutes as well? Talk about Scott Fraser for me.
Yeah, it's kind of that syndrome as you touched on, but I think it's the case of he is number 10. I don't think he plays on the left at all, really. So that is where he is, and he's just a victim of circumstance that we've got Selena in League One. And we've got Chaplin, who, in my opinion, you can't drop Chaplin. So he's just behind the pecking order. And it's what Rich again just said. It's a case of we've got too many players who are of a good standard, but we just can't fit them in. And is that arguably or stupidly making us weaker to an effect where we've got all this good talent that's not being used to its potential, and it's making them worse in a way.
What would you do, Tom, if I put you in charge?
If you got my formation.
Oh, what, for Sunderland? Have you got?
I mean, or just generally, it's just I don't know how to manage that, and I don't know how to manage an influx of this many quality Championship top League One players and balance the books. Really, it's a hard job.
It's It's interesting you say that, actually, Tom, because it must be a really hard job, mustn't it, Tux, to have 19 players arrive, 15 of them be of as good quality as Tom's just described there, and try and manage the game time, the expectations, everything.
Well, I mean, if you're one of those players, you're not silly. Like, you come into the club in the summer, and you know it was going to be a bit of a test for you because they're all new players. There's only a handful of players that lasted from last season, and most of them have been shipped out now as well. So, you can't come into it thinking that you're going to start, because at the end of the day, it's a team game. There's a squad there, a good quality squad. But, we go back to what, at the top of the show when we was kind of saying that, we've signed too many players for a position potentially in that sort of like middle of the midfield, the number 10 role, because we didn't know whether we was going to get certain players coming. We didn't think we was going to get Selena because he was ill. We didn't think we was going to get Chaplin and players like that. So, you know, to then finally get them, that kind of makes, you know, the likes of Scott Fraser maybe think, you know, have I got much of a future here? But at the same time, it's up to you to then put yourself in that position, play well, take your chance. It's like Rakeem Harper. He's not shown that yet. So he's got to show it.
Where would you play Scotty Fraser? Where do you see his future? Where do we get the best out of him?
I completely agree with what Rich was saying when he played against Cole U. He played, I thought, quite well in the middle. He had a lot of possession of the ball, sprayed the ball quite nicely as well. But, you know, ultimately he is a number 10. Like, you've just got to look at his form from last season with MK Dons. So he is a number 10. And I've got him starting number 10 in my team on Saturday because he's just that type of player that can get you, you know, scruff of the neck type player. Do you know what I mean? He will get that for you. Whereas I feel like Selena, I don't really rate him that well in the middle. I think he's more of a left-sided player, if I'm honest. Chaplin, again, I like him, but I think he's kind of that option either in the first half or the second half. But yeah, I'd be starting Fraser and then Selena on the left.
What do you make of this comment then, Crunch? Would rather have brought Twine instead of Fraser in the summer, just gone?
Well, he was top of my shopping list.
It's a good player.
But would you not have the same issue? Because Scott Fraser was what Scott Twine is for MK Dons now.
I think he's got more goals already than Scott Fraser got last season in total, isn't he?
Mm.
Scott Twine will be in the Championship, Martin, probably, maybe not January, next season.
Scott Fraser,
definitely. Yeah. But yeah, it is a case of having too many good players.
But who's to say if we'd have signed Twine this season, he'd be playing number 10? He'd probably be playing right wing.
Yeah,
so
that's my point. Yeah,
you know,
yeah, it's true. You know, Fraser, I can't sort of judge because he's not played in his position. I feel that we've brought him in for. But Chaplin, who has been playing there, played again last night, got a goal, albeit through the most bizarre and fortunate of circumstances. But you've got to be there to score it, and he scored it.
Yep.
So what did you make of Chaplin's performance then, Crunch?
He's like a wasp.
Yes,
he's always buzzing around, isn't he? He's busy. I think personally he starts Saturday in the 10 with his goals. What's that amount now? 6 goals he scored, I think, in about 11 games. He's always busy. He's always looking like he might create something. He could have a shot. He's got a shot in him. I'll give him a 6.5 again last night. I thought he got better. Look, he was alive with the goal because the ball's come over. He could have easily switched off there. The keeper's dropped it. He's alive and he's the fox in the box and he's popped it away. So he's done his job. He's got a goal. And I think he could start Saturday. I think he will start. I'd be putting Selena out on the left Saturday because we'll probably come to Kyle Edwards in a little bit. But I think you need that goal threat as well. I do understand what you're saying there, Tux, with Fraser, because I think he's got a goal in him as well. It's just, it's a case of what Paul Cook thinks, what he sees on the training field. Yeah. But going back to Scott Fraser, Martin, I think every time he's playing well, and he is giving the manager a headache. And sooner or later, he'll be back in the team.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
And that's what you've got to do, haven't you? When you get your chance, you've got to, it doesn't matter if you're playing in the FA Cup, the Papa John's Cup. Take your chance. Like Chaplin proved at Gillingham, I think, in one of the earlier rounds in the Papa John's Trophy. Played well, scored a goal, and then he played, and then he scored up, I think, 5 in 8 games. So take your chance when you get it.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah, it's good. It's that's got to be a great example to someone like Harper. You know, when you get your chance, you've got to start taking them and converting them. Chaplin, we've mentioned. Not much more can be said about Connor Chaplin really performing well. Joe Pigott, this is an interesting one. Obviously, last week played against Colchester. A lot of fans were writing him off. What did he do last night? Should those fans be back the other side of the pig pen, or are they the right side? What's going on?
Didn't know he was on the pitch for the first 20 minutes.
But then they all
didn't get in. Didn't get in the game. I said to Callie and I said to Stephen, the way we play sometimes, we overplay. I know we've scored a lot of goals in the league. I don't know what you guys think. Certain stages of games, we'll have a lot of the ball passing it around. We never look like we're going to score.
Yeah.
You know, we overplay. And I think sometimes, Martin, we get in good positions. Joe Pigott will make that run like he did last night, and then they'll go back out and start playing again. And you think, you've just made your run, put the ball in. Because you look at his goals when he scored for AFC Wimbledon last year, most of them are in the penalty box, you know. That's where Joe Pigott's going to do his damage.
Yeah.
But if you're not giving him the service, he's not got a real turn of pace, has he? I don't think. He's a different sort of player than Bond, because Bond runs the channels, doesn't he, really well. But Joe Pigott is I don't want people writing him off because he didn't play that well last night, because I think we signed him for a reason. But he's another one, isn't he? We signed him. He's come to the football club probably thinking, knowing what Paul Cook's system is, he's going to play one striker. So he started off the start of the season, didn't he? And then Bond, look, it's like we say, Martin, Bond's taking his opportunity, but I don't think Macaulay Bond can play 46 games in that role himself, because it takes a lot out of you, you know. He'll be playing Saturday against Sunderland away from home. Tuesday night, he's going to have to go again against Rotherham, big centre-halves, you know, and it takes it out of him. So Joe Pigott, sooner or later, I would like to see Joe Pigott start in a league game when he's got the first choice 11. Morsey playing, Evans playing, Selena playing. Last night, I know that they are all good players. I'm not saying they're not good players, and that 11 we had last night, a lot of League One teams would say that's a really good 11 for this league. But I want to see Joe Pigott have a chance when he's got the full first team playing, but not just one game, 2 or 3, and let's see what he can do.
Yeah. Tux, your thoughts on Pigott? Well, could last night simply have been that they hadn't had the chemistry, enough game time together to strike up that movement, as you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've been saying that all season about all of our players. Really, they need time, they need a bit of gelling and stuff like that. I'm the first one to say that, but at the same time, it all does come down to taking your chances and things like that. Arguably, I'd say Pigott has not had many chances to really do that, like Rich is saying, because it's not been in a first team environment. It's been a lot of sort of cup games and here and there, but really, he needs a bit of I think he just needs a bit more of a chance, more game time. Even Cook said that he's apologised to him for it. So, you know, I like Pigott. He's a good player, but I think he's the sort of player where you need to give him the ball for him to actually be effective in this team. And you know, I can't remember who said it a minute ago, but you know, the comment about just pissing around with the ball all the time. Just get it in the box. Just get the ball in the box. And then
does the system suit him? Does the system suit him, though, Touch? Because Stephen Parry said last night, maybe he doesn't fit the system and the football that we want to play. Yeah,
maybe not. I don't know. But I think ultimately some of that, the formations go out the window when you get the ball in the box and there's a striker in there. If you're on that penalty area,
fair point.
Get the ball in the bloody goal, you know. But he can't do that if he hasn't got the ball. So if he's not got the service, it's like Bond. If he's not got the service, he can't score. Nor would Jackson, whoever, right? But for Pigott, he's that player who can hold the ball up. I've seen him play for us, and he holds the ball up very well. But it's who's giving him the ball. And you know, Kyle Edwards is a prime example. So many tricks, do everything, take everyone on. You know, go home and then take everyone on. And then come back to the fucking, the ground. But what I'm saying is he doesn't get the ball in the box. And it's so frustrating to sit there and watch it.
Yeah,
true. It's so honestly, it's one of those, it's not just Kyle Edwards, but I've seen other wingers at this club before where, they just don't get the ball in the box. That's the whole point of it.
Take them on, go home, take them on at home, and then come back to the ground. Great comment. Tom, EJ Norris says what you signed Pigott so no one else did. What do you think on that from EJ?
I mean, we are stockpiling a lot of players, so I wouldn't be surprised at this rate. No, I've got Pigott down to start this weekend, and I'll go into why. But it's basically, again, what Rich touched on. He said a lot of good things tonight. But basically, it's a case of we've got this many games and we've got a 22-season striker just dossing. Not his fault. He's getting 3 minutes off the bench, and it's almost insulting to his ability that he's having to get such little time for such little reward. And he should be starting games. We've got 2 huge games coming up. We're playing big physical team on Tuesday. We're playing a Sunderland team bereft of confidence. we need to be mixing Bond and Piggott up, giving them different options. These defenders, we need to be getting in behind. We need to be roughing them up a bit. So there's an opportunity this weekend.
I can see what's going to happen in one of these games. We're going to be behind going into the last 20 minutes, and he's going to throw him on there, hoping he's going to score a goal. He's not going to bring him on when we're in, like Saturday, for instance, Martin. Going back to Saturday was a prime example. You've got a 22-goal striker from last season on the bench. You're 0-0 at home. 20 minutes to go. Take Bon off because it wasn't working for him. It's not going to work for Bon every week. Get Joe Piggott on, because I totally agree with you, Tux. Tom, bringing him on for 3 minutes was an absolute fucking insult to him. And I felt really sorry for him coming on there thinking, what are you doing?
Yeah, and this is it. And you say players arrive knowing the system, but if you look at, if you did a tally of how many times the opposition made a substitution and at least one of them was a striker being replaced by a striker, I'm fairly confident, without done any research or statistical proof to back this up, that quite often a striker will go off for a striker, be it they're losing, drawing, or winning, because that seems a fairly sort of straightforward sub. Whereas Cook doesn't seem to be doing that with even winning 1-0 or drawing 1-1 or 2-1 up or 3-0 down. We've seen very little of Joe Piggott, Tux, even as a...
Well, just come in there, Martin. Even at Portsmouth away, we were 3-0 up after 55 minutes.
Yeah,
you won the game. The game's what? Bring him on. Take Bon off. Give him a rest. Joe, you come on for 25 minutes. Get some football into your legs. Didn't bring him on.
Prime example, yeah, absolutely. Or was he available for Doncaster, or was that the week that he was unavailable?
I think that was when his dad passed away. I don't think he was on the bench then, was he?
Yeah. Well, you could well be correct there. But there's been several opportunities where I think even Saturday in Oxford 0-0, didn't Oxford change their centre forward? Matty Taylor went off for a striker.
Even in the FA Cup game, come on, when we played Oldham at home, he's putting all his eggs in the Macaulay Bond basket.
Well, Bond made it very difficult to bring.
He shouldn't be. No, but you can't do that, Martin. He's not going to be a success every single week. He will break. Bond will break if you keep playing him all the time. You'll wear him out.
All right. You might as well stay there. Expectations for this weekend then, Tux. I know it's a big game for yourself. Town will travel up to face 7th place Sunderland. They've lost 3 of the last 5. The manager's under fire. Why is it a big game for yourself, if you don't mind sharing, Tux? And also, what are you expecting from this weekend's trip to Sunderland?
Listen, I've got to sit in the home end. So,
what?
Yeah, I've got to sit in the home end because I'm going with my missus's family. So we're going into the pub, in their pub beforehand.
What pub's that?
The Gunners.
Right.
Yeah, so I've done that 2 or 3 times before. I'm absolutely steamed when I come out and don't remember the game. So, yeah, it might be good because obviously the last time we've done it, I think it was Chris Maguire 1-0, wasn't it?
So if I see a Town fan being ejected, Martin, after about 25 minutes in the home end, I know who it is.
Yeah, yeah. But no, it's honestly Sunderland is a big club in this division as well. You go up there and they're so passionate about football. It's such a lovely place to go and watch football as well. But yeah, it's a big game, obviously from a family reason, but also they're a massive club in this division. So we need to be beating these kind of sides as well. And I know they're on a bit of a bad run at the moment, and quite heavy defeats in the last couple, I think, as well. But what a way to sort of turn it around if you do that in a packed stadium against one of your promotion rivals in Ipswich. So you can't ever kind of say that, they've had 2 defeats or whatever, haven't had a win since the international break or whatever, and they haven't played, fair enough. But also it is a good time to play them because they haven't played. And we've seen from our own point of view when we've had international breaks where they've gone off the boil and they haven't played for a while, and you come back to your first game and you're just not up to it. It's like pre-season all over again. Yeah. So,
well, they went on the ball to sadly go off it, which could work in reverse. But Tom, the old Ipswich, we all knew and don't really miss, would have been a symptom to cure this ailment that Sunderland have got about not winning games. Hoping the new Ipswich goes up there and isn't like the old Ipswich. Surely this is a chance, isn't it? As Rob Holmes said, my Sunderland mate wants us to beat them Saturday just to get Johnson out of the door.
It's a huge opportunity. It's just a shame it's not on a Tuesday night and we're playing in white, but it's what it is. But yeah, a big challenge, but I think we can do it. It's just whether we've got over this mental barrier. It's good to hear a few weeks ago, I think it was Harper who said that they've got psychologists in the club now to go through this kind of thing, but we'll have to wait and see whether that actually works or not, and they can get over this promotion rival thing we've got going on. We've done it for Wickham, granted, but we've not done it on a consistent basis, so they've got to step up.
Yeah, 1 win, 1 defeat, 1 draw, I think, isn't it, Crunch? We've beaten Wickham, we've drew with Oxford, we got beat by Plymouth. That's the 3 top 6 sides we've faced, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Saturday is a real opportunity to go there. They've not played for 2 weeks. We've got to go there, Martin, and make a fast start. Obviously, he's under pressure, and Lee Johnson.
Yeah.
If we can go there, get into them early, get an early goal, you know what that crowd could be like for them. You know, that could work massively against them. But they're gonna be up for it. Look, they should come flying out. I'm really looking forward to the game. You know, these are the type of games that, look, we're in League One. We shouldn't be. This game could be a Premier League game.
Yeah.
You know, I remember going up there. Yeah, I remember going up there in the Premier League and playing up there. I went to when Serini made his debut, Finidi George.
With the chip at home.
Yeah, but I went to the one at the Stadium of Light when they made the debut, first game of the season up there. And look, I agree with you, Tux. They're great fans. They are. They're really nice people. You'll go up there, you can wear your colours, no problem. You'll have a great day. You can go in the pub, like you said. But let's come away with the 3 points, because we really do need to, after Saturday's game, only drawing, we need to go down up there, Martin, and beat them. And I think we can beat them. I think we're good enough to go up there. I think, personally, we're set up to play more away from home than we are at home with the players that we've got, the pace that we've got in the team. And I think I'm going up there Saturday. Well, I'm going up there Friday to stay, but I'm going up there expecting to come back with 3 points. I think we'll go up there and I think we'll beat Sunderland.
Okay, we've got a few comments. We've got Mark down. I'm in the home end also. I'll be wearing a mask, so I'll cheer when we score. Dennis, Sunderland game worries me. How many times we have team been on a bad run? Sort of saying about old Ipswich coming against Ipswich and they turn it around. Bod the nod. We all want Pete to do well, but in fairness, 180 minutes against League One position, he should have grabbed that opportunity like Clements did. Give Cook a harder decision to make. Lee Bayliss, we need to play like we can against Wickham and Pompey, and we will win. It won't be easy at all just because they've lost the last 4. Rob Holmes, 30th expected Saturday. Great atmosphere. Yeah, let's look at your lineups then. We've got Tux, your lineup. You're gone with Bon up front with Selena, Fraser, and Burns behind. Penny at left back. Yeah, I like that. But you're talking Fraser as the number 10 with Selena out wide on the left, are you, Tux?
Yeah, I wouldn't want it the other way round. I wouldn't want Fraser out wide and Selena in the middle. I think, you know, as we saw against Doncaster when they made that little switch, you know, it proved to be quite successful. So I think for me, one of the reasons why I've gone with Fraser in the middle over maybe someone like Chaplin or even Selena is mainly because I just feel like, you know, you've got like Corey Evans, Luke O'Nien, who will, you know, batter that opposition in that 10 role. And I think Fraser's got, you know, he's bigger than them for a start. So he's good at kind of like, you know, out-muscling these kind of players. And as a number 10, he's very good at passing the ball and trying to find that pocket of space as well. So I just think he's more set up for this game as opposed to someone like Chaplin or a Selena. And my other sort of concern is that if Selena and Chaplin play in the same team, whether they start in the middle or left, respectively, I just think it looks a little bit weak. And we can be a little bit weak in terms of like, when we're off the ball, if that makes sense. So that's my sort of team. I've got Penny obviously in there at left back. You know, I've sort of cast my sort of thoughts on Clements already, but you know, I think that might be a game too much for him personally. And hopefully Penny could come back into the team and play well. But I mean, you know, the rest of them just sort of pick themselves really, don't they?
Okay. Tom, you've gone for Selena and Chaplin. Obviously, Tux says it could be a bit weak. You can't come back on Tux there, I suppose, then having picked both of them for yourself.
Yeah, I think Chaplin, for me, I think it was brought up earlier, is just a bit nippy, isn't he? I think he can kind of get in and behind and try and feed Piggott and support the wide players as well. I've kept Clements in because I'm assuming Coulson is injured. I've not heard anything to suggest he might be fit. So I'm only basing his performances that I've not seen on what I have seen of Penny. So that's why Clement stays in, because I'd like to see him play, to be honest. And like I said earlier, I've put Pickett up top because he needs to play. If I'm on Paul Cook's coaching staff, I'm telling him, you've got 2 strikers, if not more. You need to play these strikers and rotate them a bit. And I'm fine if Bond comes on for the last 20 minutes. That's a good option to have. It's just something we're not utilising at all at the minute. So, yeah. That's my team.
I like it.
The thing is, though, how much grief is Paul Cook going to get, though, if he doesn't start Macaulay Bond, top goal scorer in the league, against Sunderland?
No, I get that completely. And I said the exact same thing probably 6 weeks ago. And I said, you can't drop Bond at the minute. He's our top scorer. But he was scoring pretty much every game. And there's been a little bit of a dip. Arguably, it's been in cup competitions as well. But he is going to get fatigued at some point. We've got a 22-season striker doing nothing. And it's criminal, really, that he is doing that. So it has to start somewhere. And the reason I did it against Sunderland is because we're on a bad run. We've got a big Rotherham team coming up. And I think the options of pacing behind with Pickett to maybe come on for that game is pretty good for us.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Right, before I get your score predictions from the 3 of you, don't forget Prediction League is now open. Week 16, 3 games: Sunderland, Ipswich, Cambridge, Rotherham, Norwich versus Southampton. TJ, Norwich, Southampton, talk to me about that one. What are you thinking? Please don't say Norwich going to win with the manager bounce.
Mate, well, it's like you've read my mind. I think Norwich win this game, but I still think they go down. I think they will get that little bounce against the Southampton team that are relatively uninspired. And I think Smith will get his first win there, but I hope they don't.
Well, yeah, we all hope they don't. We all hope you're wrong, but yeah, it could do. Don't forget, this is the Dean Smith crunch that remembers growing up watching Norwich in Europe.
But I really like Dean Smith. I just think, oh no, I've got to not like you now. Yeah. He's gone there. I would have had him at Town when he was at Brentford, Brentford manager. I really rated him there. Harshly treated, I still say Martin at Villa, but Norwich at home to Southampton, it has to be 3 points for Norwich, isn't it, if they're going to think of getting anywhere this season. But I think Southampton will turn them over.
Well, Southampton did beat Villa, which was Dean Smith's last game. They beat him 1-0. Cambridge, Rotherham, Tux. Obviously, Cambridge facing another promotion rival of ours. Again, that seems to happen quite regularly. They play a rival that's coming up directly afterwards. But Rotherham, what can we expect from that game, do you think?
Well, I mean, I'd sort of like to say maybe like a Rotherham kind of grinding out 1-0, but I think Cambridge are a little bit better than that, and I think maybe they could just maybe provide like a bit of a score draw potentially. So I probably will go with Rotherham winning it just by a goal, I think.
Yeah, Ashley Bell says that 3 away wins there. The good doctor, I'm getting the feeling it may be another season defining corner turning, hiding will deal out. That'd be my 11. TJ would play Bond from the start. See how he goes on for 60 minutes. We've got Ben Moore, 3-1 Cambridge, I hope. Lee Bayliss, big statement now if we can get 9 points from the next 3 league games. And Stephen Perry says, loving the dog. Obviously, I was in reference to your dog there. Oh, look at that. Oh, beautiful. Very quickly, because we are rounding up the show, I'll bring Colin in for a score prediction. Colin, hello, how are you? Colin, talk to me very quickly. What are you thinking?
Are we talking about the Sunderland game?
Yeah.
I think it's the kind of game that's made for us, to be perfectly honest with you. Like you said earlier on, all you three, they are not in good form. They've not played recently. I don't think that helps either. I think Town are made to play away from home, personally. I think our makeup is suited for that. Who plays on that left, like Tux was trying to go over a little while ago, I think is a big bone of contention, really. I don't know who's going to be playing there. I think it's a bit of a toss-up between Clements and Penny. I'm probably thinking. Trying to read Cook's mind. I think he'll probably. I know Tats is not going to like this. I think he might just about go for Clements.
I think so.
I'm not 100% sure on that touch, to be honest. I think it'd probably be about 59, like a 55-45 shout, or No, I think Town are more like has been said earlier on. I think Town are more than capable of winning that game, and I think you look at the games in hand that Sunderland have got above us, and to add to that, they're a few points in front of us. Is it a must-win? I actually think it's definitely a game we absolutely mustn't lose. But I think it's borderline a must-win. But I have just got to say before you shut me off, Martin, I've got to say about Rich. I mean, I know you probably thought I was going to say something about the boy, but I've got to. I've texted him and we've spoken.
He knows, doesn't he?
No, yeah, but no, not everybody else doesn't know. No, I don't agree with that, Gov. No, nobody else is privy to our conversations. Well, I hope not. But that lad deserves all the credit in this world, honestly. He really does. I'll tell you what, he has been a top lad this last few days. Like I put in the chat, he's up there with the best Ipswich Town fans I've ever known. And my God, I've known hundreds, if not thousands. His away record is unreal.
Yep.
Up there with mine. He surpasses me now. I mean, I ain't really got the energy he has. I mean, I've still got the energy to do it, but not the energy he's got. Because what he's been doing this last week, going to away games, doing the fundraising, and just about doing his refereeing, doing everything. That bloke honestly deserves a medal. He really is top rate. And when I hear that people are putting CRAP, I mean, I'm not on Twitter, thankfully. But when I hear people putting CRAP on these platforms, is that what you call them, about this young man, well, I'm not going to say it on air because I don't really particularly want to, but I think you know what I'm thinking. It's despicable, absolutely despicable. When a person is trying to help children, maybe disabled children, maybe people who are out of work, people who just basically are not as, when I say well off, I don't mean financially, I mean well off in life as we are, okay? Because I often say to Venetia, I often say, about different things when you see things in life. And I think it was, and I might see something up Noten Park, when we go for a walk with the grandchildren, and you'll see like a disabled child come out of in a wheelchair of a car. And I say to Venetia, now why does people moan about paying an electric bill when you see that? These are the people that Rich and, well, even myself and everybody, and especially that young man, are helping big time. And also credit's got to go to the club in general as well. Because what I read tonight, the players, the staff, the coaching staff, they're all now getting involved, which is a fantastic thing as well. And also Richard texted me earlier on about, obviously, like my Astor said last night, he's got to come a time where you draw a line under stuff, but it's still running for another day or two, and all those monies will go to East Anglian Children's Hospice, which is, hospices are very, very close to my heart because obviously I lost my father with in a hospice in St Nicholas Hospice in Bury, so that's very, very close to me as well. All things to do with hospices and heart foundations. Like Venetia's father had heart problems, and I had heart problems, and all these things, they all add up. And if we can help these kind of people who've got these different problems and what have you, that's marvelous. And
Absolutely.
and the figure I mean, was truly amazing. And that's all thanks to Rich. Bless your heart, mate.
Absolutely, it is really well done. As it, yeah, very, 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 very well done. Very well done. So, score predictions though for Sunderland. Colin, you can go first. What do you think this weekend's score prediction will be?
What is that on there? Am I reading that correct?
What, from Stephen Parry? It's nonsense, Colin. I sent money with no thought of anything untowards. I trusted Rich.
What is that supposed to mean?
I think you're reading that wrong, Colin. I think that's a
please. Yeah, perhaps I am then. Well, please tell me.
No, you are, Colin. No, you're reading it wrong because he's on about the people on Twitter who are saying, "Is the money going to where it's like?" They're having a go at me, not you. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Oh, whoa, please, Martin, please let me speak. If that is the case, I read it completely wrong, Stephen. My mind read it wrong. I absolutely apologise for my thoughts. Okay, I completely read that wrong. I really mean that, and you know I mean that. I read that wrong. Sorry.
Okay. Score
you know what I'm saying, don't you, Rich?
I'll tell you something, Colin. I want to go to bed, so hurry up.
Score prediction, please. Score prediction, Colin.
Score prediction on Saturday. I'm going to go for. I think it'll be. I think it'll be close. Hope not. I'm going to go 1-2.
1-2. Okay.
Yeah.
Rich?
1-2.
Look, just say thanks for you, Colin, for all that you've done and all your kind words. And just think, us people on here, when we're there at Portman Road against Sunderland, we all played a little part in that ground being full. Not just me, everybody. 3-1 Town. 3-1 Town, Saturday.
Love it. Tux?
Yeah, I just want to second everyone's sort of comments with Rich. I mean, it's unbelievable job that you're doing. And yeah, obviously you're going to bring a lot of joy to a lot of families over the Christmas period. So yeah, hats off to you, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Score wise, just from a bragging rights point of view, I just want to get 3 points and absolutely stuff them, to be honest with you. But I mean, I think realistically, I think it could be a draw. And again, I just think it's going to be very close, but I think it's just going to be a goal in it, maybe. So maybe just a 1-0 Ipswich potentially.
1-0 and Tux literally crawling into his seat as he watches the team hang on for dear life. Tom, your score, please.
I'll just quickly echo everyone as well and just say I've got a lot of good memories going to Portman Road at Christmas at a young age. So the fact that you've done what you've done and people are going to get the same experience, nice one. 2-1 Town this weekend.
2-1 Town. Okay, I'm very tempted to do a Conor McGregor right now, so I'd like to thank absolutely nobody, but I'm not going to do it. Paul Bird, I find it sad other platforms, so-called Town fans, couldn't recognize what this platform was doing. It was about podcasts, about giving to families. Kieran, good morning. Hope your commute to work is very, very good this morning. He lives in Australia. Mike D, they should do a presentation before a home Christmas game with Rich, the fellow who came up with the idea, and the owners. If they do, Rich, can you hold up the TT?
Oh, flag? Imagine that. Imagine that. The Lemons would absolutely lose their shit.
Oh, mate, plenty of lemon Fanta that weekend. 2-0 from Kieran. 3-2 says Lloyd. 3-1 says Ben. 2-1 says Lee. And 2-1 says John Warren. Great show. Colin, thanks for popping on. Thank you for very kind words and supportive words for Rich. Thank you very so much.
Yeah, Martin, can you just do one thing for me, please? And I'd be very much appreciative of it. Will you please? I know Stephen's probably listened to this. Rich knows this. I'm very, very much, a heart person, and that's upset me that I've actually read that wrong. And I total apologies to Steve. And he knows there's nothing that I didn't want that to sound like the wrong way.
No, as Stephen just said, absolutely no need. You're okay, Colin. You can sleep well tonight.
Lovely. Okay. I'm glad I can. I really am. And
Look
love to everybody. And Rich, please, the weekend with Matt Stannard, whatever, have a great weekend. You thoroughly deserve a really lovely weekend and a good win.
Thanks very much, mate. Cheers.
Great stuff. I tell you what, you get a mate like Colin who would literally go to war for you. When he thought he read what Stephen wrote, Christ, I thought he was going to literally come through the camera. And literally, even I was getting a little bit worried.
Don't worry. I'll talk to him down.
Mike D, Colin versus Steve, Xmas boxing.
There'll be no fucking fighting. No fucking fighting.
Honestly, we all need mates like that. That's what we need in our life. But it's been a great show. Crunch, thank you for popping on with your match ratings and talking us through yesterday's game.
I thought I was only staying on for about 10 minutes. I've been here for an hour.
I know. Mark, thank you very much for your sound words. Not about Idris or Bailey, but still sound enough.
Thanks
sit on your hands.
In the academy.
Yeah.
Sit on your hands, Tux Daddy. Sit on your hands.
Yeah, we'll do.
And Tom, fantastic as always. We are back Friday at 8:30. Myself, Matt, and Lewis will be taking that man's spot for the press conference reaction show. But until then, this has been Talking Town. Enjoy, share to all your friends and family, and we will catch you on the other side. Take care.
Positivity.
Yeah.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better.